What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing, and we are getting ready right here today during non-farm payroll Friday to see what's going on here now during the New York session. About a half hour has passed since the print, and let's take a look at it right now. We had boom, boom, better than expected, 225,000 jobs, but we also had the employment rate was off, as well as the average hourly earnings not good. So we got a lot more baristas hired around the US, but earning less. So let's see how the market's pricing in right now. Taking a look at the Euro US dollar. This was so far making new lows overnight. Let's take a look at the daily. You can see it right here. You can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down days in a row all week, trading down towards its lows, printed a low of 1.946 earlier during London, and currently just trading a little bit mixed off its highs. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens here. Everyone, great to see you. Good morning, Mima, Blair, Harshal, everyone. I don't know. What do you think's going on with this non-farm payrolls print? Has the dollar come too far too soon? Is it going to keep extending up towards the highs that we were looking at? You know, next week will be. I don't know. Let's see what happens this session. Let's see how the market digests it. That ultimately the market's right. I'm just going to follow price, find out what's going on. Definitely seeing risk bid up a little today. You're seeing the Japanese yen getting some additional love. The situation obviously has to do with the coronavirus. Not looking good. We have 140 million people now in quarantine in China. Let's see what she's doing here. This is the low since the print around 0954. The high was 109.70, 69. Gold looks good here. Gold is definitely bid. Let's take a look at it. Gold with this, remember, it's the strong dollar. With the strong dollar, gold continues to look good. A bit wild since non-farm payrolls, but it basically held this support over here at 1562, and above there looks great. We had said over here, as long as we're above 1558, this current leg up here looks really intact. But obviously the market is digesting what's going on here this morning, and outside of Japanese yen strength, it's hard to get a read on the market. Pound's still below this broken support over here. Boom, boom, boom. Benedict, what's going on? Great to see you. Great to hear from you. All right, this is obviously now turned to resistance over here. Let's get that in here. This is the pound US dollar. Let's see where it closes today. Maria, you got wrecked. Good morning. This was a very uncertain week for me. I only took one trade, the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. I got out of it this morning, right here. So before the numbers came out of Canada. Australian dollar, Japanese yen has a lot of pressure on it overnight. That's definitely the risk off situation. The amount of cases in Japan have risen twofold basically overnight. Let's see, I'm trying to get a read here on where they're going to take her this morning. Where are you all focused? MHB, Tico Tico. Looks like the dollar is now making new lows here this morning, ever since the non-farm payrolls. We're at the top of the hour. We have about half hour to US equities open. They're expected to open down pretty heavily. Martine, morning. Thanks. I mean, it looks to me that we're gonna have some risk off going into this weekend. That's about all I could see clearly. I'm focused on what is happening with the euro US dollar, with the dollar. The risk on part is easy. Position accordingly. It could be. It could be. That's a very good question. Obviously, that's where all our focus is now. Um, so just to rewind, right? This was the weekly Forex forecast. Price was right around down here, and we noted at the time. Listen, probably, and unless we break down below this 96 level, lose this support, we're very bullish to the dollar. Probably we wind up breaking out to the upside. Of course, I had no idea it was going to be here, and was trying to play short off of this resistance. But eventually, we were looking for a break out of this bull flag to the upside and looking for a test of 99.50, right? How soon that happens, I have absolutely no idea. Does it happen next week, or does it, or when? Obviously, I have no idea. Um, but as we get closer to here, we're gonna see, Trump rattling his sabers. He's not gonna like a strong dollar going into the election year. The Fed is probably not gonna like it also, because that could jeopardize the whole house of cards. So, you know, it's never easy. But what is the most interesting out of all of this is that gold remains stronger than this beast of a dollar. Bill Boy, welcome. As far as the Nasdaq, it looks like it's going to gap down. The S&P and the Dow are down about almost a half a percentage point. I think we have definite risk off going into the weekend, which makes complete sense because things are just continuing to escalate and get worse and worse with the coronavirus. Foxconn, the biggest manufacturer in China, the one who does all of Apple's supply, has told workers basically they're off indefinitely. Like there's no even like tentative date of when they'll be returning to work. So what's oil doing today? Oil is acting appropriate to that news. I think that would continue weighing on the Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar, Japanese yen wasn't moving, which is why I got out of it ahead of the report. It wasn't moving in relation to the other Japanese yen pairs. This looks obviously very bullish here, the US dollar, Canadian dollar. Let me get off the 30-minute time frame. Come back to that later. Get much better looks here on the 8 hour. You even with the strong dollar here, notice that the Japanese yen is stronger than the US dollar today. Not by much, but it's definitely stronger. This is the risk off. I will continue watching this for the breakout. This, I think it's a 5-year breakout. That would be very interesting if the dollar winds up breaking out here to the upside against the yen. Right now, though, it looks like we are getting ready for another continued risk off bout. The non-farm payroll data and the data this morning is mixed. The dollar is definitely bid up on it though right now, coming down, testing lows. All right. Wow. So obviously this is such an important time of day to watch what's gonna happen, where they're gonna take it. Are we gonna see the dollar just strength continue here, or are we gonna find out differently that this is not good? By the way, average hourly earnings are that being down is not good. Um, Unemployment going up, both not good, and this is a lagging indicator. So let's see how the market digests it. It doesn't matter what the data is as much as what the market does with it. So that's what we really want to focus in on. So anyone looking to trade this morning, definitely you got risk on. I mean, excuse me, risk off. There's about to be a shortage of iPhones. I mean, Jesse, there's about to. I mean, I'm monitoring the situation closely and have been for the past couple of weeks. Um, and just a few days ago, there was definitely that sign of hope, and there still is. This, over here in the Western Hemisphere, cases aren't really rising, but they're rising pretty quickly outside of China, in the over in Asia. So it's scary. Heath, Heath Curdy, good morning. Um, Watching the market closely here. Watching the market closely here. You can see the risk off. Yen just ahead of the weekend, really building up. Australian dollar, Japanese yen now down over 1.1%. Let's check out the Australian dollar, US dollar. There we go. We're looking, we got a below this trend line yesterday. Look at that. That does not look good at all. Here she goes, breaking down to new lows. Hopefully this trend line comes back into play one day, whereas she breaks above it. But right now, looks ugly. All right, pretty cool. So thoughts on the US dollar? You got wrecked. I mean, you're right. It's a dollar story that's going to continue. Today's a big day going into the weekend. Whether or not this holds, this data is definitely mixed. So we'll see what narrative they paint after the fact. That's why we're watching price now. I honestly have no idea. Brad, good morning. And rightfully so. I mean, rightfully so. And don't forget the central bank was a little less dovish, right? And the fact that they're getting crushed, I mean, that just opens the door for this to escalate, meaning they're going to have to get very dovish soon. I mean, the Australian economy is so connected to the Chinese economy. The only thing that they have going in their favor right now is the price of gold rising. But we're seeing risk off coming into the market, going into the weekend, and Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, all commodity currencies getting wrecked. So Billy Boy, I mean, where's that chart I was just looking at? This is the Australian dollar, US dollar. This over here was, so let me, I have a little too many lines on the chart right now. Let me remove that one. This over here, this trend line over here, and then this trend line over here, and then look at this support over here, the green line. All right. Price was trading back above this trend line over here. So it was above this green support. It was above this green support. And there's above this trend line, which was also green when that's the price is above it. So two supports. You had resistance overhead over here. All right. You have this where my mouse is, horizontal resistance right here. As price was coming down into here, we looked at this during the live stream yesterday, right? And we said this is at an amazing point because if price comes down and starts making lower lows below this trend line resistance and below this support line here, which is now resistance, it looks like an excellent opportunity to get short, right? And at the same time, if you make higher highs off of this trend line over here, watch out to the upside. So whether it's here on the Australian dollar or any pair, what you're looking to do is you're looking for downtrends. If you're looking to sell, this is a clear downtrend. And then you're looking for price to come into the nearest resistance. You see as price was over here on this price bar. As price was like this, you're coming into two resistances. So what do you do here? You're looking to sell if price makes a lower low, right? Off being rejected by the resistance. On the next price bar, never made a lower low. It broke this resistance. All right. So this becomes support. Broken resistance becomes support, but you're up here into this resistance right now as well, right? So you're not looking to buy this. Plus, it's in a strong downtrend. It's much easier to sell resistance in downtrends and buy support in uptrends. What happens on the next bar? You come back, you test this broken resistance. It's holding as support. All right, continues holding here. Now we broke back down below this resistance over here, and since then it's been a free fall. So I wouldn't have taken this trade to the downside. What I do is I look for a break of the support and then a retest of it. Now on a smaller time frame, you can see once we broke this resistance here, we did come back up and test it. It held, the support held as resistance, and then the entry on a small time frame is easy. Oh yeah, Rob, especially through this weekend, I think we're gonna find out. Things are escalating around the world. You could just watch the videos on Twitter and see clearly what is happening in China. As far as the official numbers and whatnot, it's probably, A lot of people are dying before they're diagnosed. People are literally still dying in the streets. People are being taken away to these quarantine camps, and they're doing anything they can not to go, running from the police, smashing their heads on the ground. The police are locking people, welding shut locks in buildings of complexes when someone's infected. 140 million people in quarantine, cities on lockdown. It is just a bad situation. Ultra, we're watching the market right now to find out what the effects are. Tracking the U.S. dollar, right? I have no idea yet. The market's going to let us know over the next hour or two what the effects of non-farm payroll were. It's a mixed reading. The numbers came in better than expected, and this is a lagging indicator though of the economy, right? It's not. This doesn't come off until the economy is basically headed to recession or in recession. This is not a good sign that the average hourly earnings are down. That's bad. And the employment rate also, unemployment going up is not good. But it's more of a question of what the market does with it. Even though those numbers are in my view, not the greatest, it doesn't mean that the dollar won't remain bid here. The dollar could remain bid on multiple reasons. But at the same time, over these next 2 hours, I'm watching for a reversal. I'm not, I'm just waiting and watching. I would think you would see that on the euro. I don't think you'll see that on the Australian dollar. This is risk off. On the US dollar, Japanese yen, if we see a reversal, we could see this continue to firm up over here, break down, lose this support over here. That could definitely happen this session. That's another great point, right? Even going back to the euro, this is just down all week, straight downtown, right? Do people want to take profits here? Mixed data, maybe, right? Just things to watch out for. Gold taking out 1570, continues to remain bid. You have risk off going into the weekend. The dollar's not getting in its way. It doesn't seem to even care about the dollar. So coming up into this light area of resistance around 1571, if it breaks through, I think that we're coming up. I think if it breaks through, then we could be testing the whole number at 1600. So Blair, I think the best thing to do is a quick Google. Why is non-farm payroll a lagging number? But I know with certainty it is. Why? I mean, just making an assumption here is that basically businesses begin laying off people. That's the last thing they do to like. So for example, if you're Microsoft, right? All of a sudden, your sales will start lagging. The best thing you could do to cut costs is lay off a percentage of your workforce, right? So that people don't like to really lay off people until it's a necessity. So basically after things get bad is then when layoffs begin. Yeah. Let's see. So to make it really easy though, and you kind of we'll look at the Australian dollar, US dollar to really see, like, you see this. Here, let me help you all out. This trend line and this support, once you got below it, you see how it bled. This is almost the reverse here. I mean, you're above this support and this support. So if you're looking to go against the trend here, like wait till you get below here. Up here, it's very dangerous. If this dollar strength continues, um, this is breaking out. You know, the dollar is getting close to breaking out versus the yen. It's now breaking out here versus the Canadian dollar. It's breaking out against the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar too. I have to assume looks right, breaking down right here. We just lost this important support. So trying to catch the reversal there seems very dangerous. If you would like to get short the Canadian dollar here, well, wait until it proves itself, and you got this support over here, and then this trend line support. And while you're above this, you know, you you have this resistance you're in right now, right? And if that's what you're playing off of, and your stop is tight, and you're looking to take profits down around here, that might work out. But that's the easier trade was coming into uptrend, coming into support, broken resistance, testing as support, holding, and then to the upside. That's trade with momentum with you. You're going against a lot of momentum right now, and maybe this is the turn in the dollar this morning. Like I said, I'm looking for it, but trading against it. That's all. And so yeah, you could make a lot of money on a turn. That's for sure. But it's lower probability. And just the thing is by buying supports and uptrends, selling resistance and downtrend, you're going to increase your profitability. It's just much easier instead of trying to like be a hero, right? Make less easier than trying to make a lot the difficult way. And it's just a lot easier. Blair, this lady, I'm gonna pull it up right now. I'll send you the link. Danielle DiMartino Booth. She was a former Fed chair, and she provides great insight. She's one to follow, one to watch, one to learn from. I bet if you Google her name and then search why employment is a lagging indicator, um, that's what I would do. Let me try to do a search. So I searched her name, why unemployment is a lagging indicator. So there's a post right here on Facebook. It says the unemployment rate is the most lagging of economic indicators as it continues to decline after one of the worst. Check out that link. And then also search down. Maybe these videos. I have no idea. I've never seen her talk about the subject, but I know that she's the one that you want to look for. All right. So right now we're at the U.S. Equity opens. We're opening down about 0.5%. Listen, it's very rare that we're down on a Friday. I'm pretty sure that this is going to end badly today, going into the weekend. I don't not usually an advocate of selling the indices right now. I would be. You're into this little bit of support right here. You could see that. If you want to wait for further breakdown, watch what happens on the open. But I have a feeling we're going to end badly today. Gold is right now breaking above that 1571 level. It's into some resistance here. It's got a little more above, but it looks very, very bid. The story for me is on the dollar. Do we hold up here or not? Again, I have no idea. Risk on is looking very solid. Excuse me, risk off. Yes, both of you. Let's start with the New Zealand dollar. US dollar, as it took out this big support line over here as far as downside targets. Yeah, somewhere in this neighborhood. This is the next support. Not looking good, or looking good on the short side. The pound Japanese yen. It it does look like we're going to come down and test this support, right? It appears that way. It appears that over the weekend the risk off should continue to exacerbate, but I don't. That will be interesting if whether or not we get down there and if it holds. Wasn't easy though, was it? Benedict, excellent question. So risk on is when people believe that it's a good environment for for taking on they see growth ahead. You want to, you want to be investing in commodity currencies such as the Australian dollar, um, Canadian dollar. You have much more money in on equities, a lot of inflows into equities. Risk off is when things are very uncertain, either geopolitically, if there is any type of possible war, or they're seeing the economy heading towards recession. Then you have people, their inflows go into more liquid things like the Japanese yen, which is considered a safe haven currency, or the Swiss franc. Oh, what happened on the Australian dollar, Swiss franc? Um, risk off means that people are looking to put their money into safer places because they're worried, such as gold. Risk ons means they're more at liberty to take, you know, higher leverage and more chances. This is where I was really watching this trade. It got away from me. Dollar here is just testing the high range of since the NFAP print. You can see that right here. This is actually early in the week was much difficult. This is kind of almost a laid back, easier time to be trading. Things are very clear. Things are I would expect the trends we're seeing to last throughout the day. Equities really selling off. Pulling back a tiny bit here. You have to watch the last half hour of trading today. If the plunge protection team is coming in, that's when they're going to do it. But nice traded, Martin. DJ, what did you get short? Andreas, even better. Wait for Sunday's weekly Forex forecast and analysis. Get a fresh view going into next week. That's a really smart attitude to have, and perspective. if you've been off for a few days, don't be in a rush to jump in. Get a nice feel for what's going on first, and definitely a good foundational thing is the weekly forex forecast and analysis. Beautiful. The CAD Japanese yen though seems a little bit lagging. There it goes. Now she's falling a little bit. All right, that looks solid. This trade looks beautiful. Beautiful. That's a holder. Beautiful. I mean, great trading conditions. Beautiful. I'm only taking one discretionary swing trade this week, but the position trades I'm sitting on are just, it feels great. So I'm happy camper. Swiss franc, Japanese yen coming back down, testing this neckline over here. That's DJ. That's how I feel exactly. It was a stressful week, and now it's all rainbows. Tesla's up today with all the carnage. Ooh, I'd love for her to get a little higher. Indices are in the red. That appears to be an easy trade today. Gold, bazooka, looking good. Euro trading towards the top of the range over the last since the NFP, towards the top. It hasn't yet broken out to the upside. Just a quick look at these numbers with y'all, and a quick look at the calendar for next week. We got New Zealand dollar central bank meeting on Tuesday. Fed Powell testifying Tuesdays and Wednesday. And then retail sales on Friday. It's more or less a pretty light calendar. So this is what I'm focused on. The numbers here in China are obviously completely fake. That's pretty clear. And I don't know if it's because it's all the capacity they have to test people each day, which seems to number goes up about 3,000 a day. Maybe they only have 3,000 kits. That it's possible. A lot of people seem to be dying before they even get to the hospitals. So, and of course it's China. We know how they are on their data anyway. I'm watching these numbers, and these numbers are actually growing a little faster than I was hoping for this past week. Now, over here in the US though, in Canada has actually doubled in the last 2 days. The US has only had one new case in the past like 4 days. That's pretty promising. My great concern is Africa and Latin America do not have the capacity to be able to test and quarantine people. For example, there was a plane of 30, 40 students that came back from the province of the outbreak back to Mexico. They stopped in France, were tested, went straight to Mexico. And then the Mexican government was like, okay, go back to your house, and if you have a fever, then give us a call. So, whereas the people that come back to the US, they're quarantined by the CDC for 2 weeks, so if things start spreading here, it could get out of hand. Things are obviously escalating very quickly in Japan, Singapore, Thailand. If these numbers next week get up into the triple digits, I'm gonna start becoming pretty concerned. Dollar now, euro trying to break up here. It's got a lot to reclaim before there's going to get some momentum, but it's working. Yeah, I mean, but the thing about Canada is hopefully they are definitely quarantining those people. They're it's scary. This one I was unsure about. For sure, I was unsure about the pound Australian dollar. All of these blue trades, I wish I actually had gotten involved because they all worked out as perfectly as can be. But it's when you're unsure and you're unclear, it's better to hang out on the side. Yeah, Canada, has, relatively speaking to the rest of the world, has all their ducks in their row. Of course, whether it's Canada, US, Europe, we all got our problems, but relatively speaking, you got to feel safer in a situation like this. Yeah, Jesse, I agree. I think the people's long-term opinion of the establishment has forever been changed now in China. I Jesse, great point. I agree with that 100%. Whether or not they'll be able to be an uprising or not, I mean, it's tough, especially with the virus going around. I mean, there's no one in the streets. They're not organized. Those Hong Kongers are organized, huh? I mean, they're fighting a revolution over there. Um, they are organized. Bitcoin looking good. All right, looks like market now after the first 20 minutes just taking a quick pause here. Let's see if the dollar is now almost unchanged on the day. Yeah, Jesse, they're no joke. Those kids are fighting for freedom. We have Greta up for the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, all these Hong Kongers are fighting for freedom, real freedom. We have the euro down on the day. The Japanese yen must be weighing on the dollar the most today because the dollar is destroying the New Zealand dollar. It's destroying the Australian dollar. Um, what's going on with the pound? Looks mixed, down like the euro a little bit. Beautiful, Martine. Absolutely. I feel especially the prayers go out to those in China because there's real suffering going on there. A lot of despair. They definitely need hope. Yeah, forget the Nobel Peace Prize. She should get the line of the decade. Well, what about when she said she wants to put everyone up against the wall? That was cute, especially coming from Europe. You think things like that would never be said again. Dollar holding in here though. Dollar holding in here. It's too soon to say what's going to happen. The market is definitely awake, and foreign exchange is back. Blair, I saw there was a bug in Facebook that allowed people to see who updates their page, and it turns out that Greta's page was being updated by some guy in India and her father. So that poor girl being manipulated. The euro pushing, trying to make a move here. US dollar, Canadian dollar. Let's see how she's holding up. Oil is weighing on this. She looks, I mean, guys, we're back to weak versus strong, right? We're looking at a risk on environment, Japanese yen, Swiss franc, commodity currencies look to be weak. This looks coming off that as long as the support holds, it looks bullish here. Not only that, you're coming off of a big trend line break here to the upside. So as long as we stay above this support here and above this trend line, at this point we flip to bullish. And any retrace on the dollar, if the dollar today is thrown off, if the dollar loses this support, let's see where we wound up consolidating. And you know to keep it really simple and easy, buy supports in uptrends and sell resistance in downtrends. There's no need to look to pick a top here. If you want to sell it, wait until you get below this support, wait until you get below this resistance. But while you're above, it's too dangerous. Blair, please do give us an update there when that news comes through. Bitcoin looking super good, super strong. The worst thing that I could see happening on Bitcoin is just getting away from us too hard and too fast. Uh, she looks good though. The worst thing that I could see happen in Bitcoin is that going into the halving, right around the beginning of May, I think it'll be now, that we're trading, you know, I don't know, somewhere between 12 and 13,000. And at that point, I think right after the halving, if that was the case, then you would see maybe a quick slip back towards where it should be, around 11,400. But right now, why you have about 5 months, 6 months to accumulate, buy off supports. Vicky, at 100%, you could use that on all time frames. Let me move this over here. It doesn't matter the time frame you're looking at. Very bullish. All right, please give me. There's gonna be no sound for a minute. I will be right back. DJ, about that 10K area on Bitcoin. Um, I don't know. I think I'm more focused here on 10,350 as a level, and then again we got some more bigger resistance around 10,750. But you guys know my thoughts on Bitcoin. I'm thinking it more right now of the bigger perspective, and that is, I thought 6,500 was going to be the low. If we got below 6,000, I'm extraordinarily worried, and above 50, below 5,800, my thesis was basically wrong, and I would have to reevaluate totally. But I think that we are between 6,500 and probably somewhere around, I mean, maybe 12,500, 13,000, and that we enter May at 11,400. Now that could be off by $1,000 or $1,500 plus or minus, but all of this next 5-6 months is just a chance. You know, instead of buying Starbucks, save that money, make coffee at home. It'll taste better, and just keep accumulating Bitcoin. Whether it's whatever you can do, and over the next 18 months, that's going to pay off. So I'm not really worried about levels on Bitcoin right now. Um, and to keep it simple, you could just look to buy off of any supports, and it's a really good time to be. It's a really good time to be accumulating Bitcoin for some big moves coming up over the next 18 months. But it's not the time to really be trading it yet. Vicky, the settings are the same on all time frames. The settings stay the same on all time frames. There's DJ. There's a lot of people shorting Bitcoin, and I on my Twitter I watch like the big orders going through on the leveraged exchanges, and they're shorting Bitcoin all the way up this because for 2 years people are used to shorting Bitcoin, and that's still kind of ingrained in their psyche, and they believe and they've heard things like Bitcoin's going to 1,000 or 3,000, and there are a lot of people shorting Bitcoin. But I like your perspective there that it makes no sense to short Bitcoin, right? Even going back to January here of 19. Euro is licking its wounds. 5 days, 5 days down in a row, and trying to stabilize here. Dollar's a beast. Indices still are off. Australian dollar, Japanese yen took a bit of a bite back off of its lows over here. Get a look at this resistance over there at 73.38, and this trend line over here that might be an opportunity intraday to lean in. Those are two good levels to look at if we get up there. All right, let's take a look around. Everything kind of in pause now after 40 minutes since the US equities opened. Let's see what the next move is. This is back on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. It's moving today, obviously. I'm definitely more inclined to be holding risk off going into the weekend. I'm sure a lot of other people are as well. US dollar, Swiss franc, back into the pocket. Let's take a look at this one, and only because Panera, where are you focused on the 60-minute time frame? Definitely coming back down into this support over here, right? Um, so, oh, it's so tough. I mean, I see it between this resistance right over here at the top, further resistance up ahead, and this support down below. For me, Al, I don't like it in this narrow area. If we break down, it becomes an easier trade. If the dollar doesn't hold here today, and we see more risk off going into next week, let's watch if this level holds or not. If the dollar continues to break out to the upside, and this is able to prove itself a little more, to make it a little bit easier, right? Above this resistance, still got a lot of resistance above you. Above here, it gets a little cleaner and easier. Now, it's a little tough for me right now. Personally, I see obviously playing it off of the test of this support over here as we're into it right now. Um, I have no idea what the dollar is going to do today. Now, as a short term trader, though, you seem to have a lot of price action going and momentum here on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen today. A little bit of more clarity, but the yen must be weighing on the dollar. Euro's still having trouble. It's tough in arrow. I mean, I think we're in a pretty narrow range over here. Jesse, I don't know what's going to happen. It really needs to regain this resistance here in order to have a chance. All right, I don't know if I'm online with you guys right now. Hold on. All right, looks like I'm back with you guys. Sorry about that. Little mishap on my end. Always Fridays. I'm a little quiet. Dollar seems to be making its attempt right here. Let's see if she's rejected right here or not. Thanks, Vicky. I couldn't even read you guys' messages. I apologize about that. Canada is expected to get a big snowstorm tonight, I think, in the Northeast. Nice problems to be worrying about with what's going on in the greater world today. I wonder then if it's more. Let's take a look at it right now. I wonder if it's more U.S. dollar story then. If the pound is just consolidating. Let's take a look. So the pound is definitely it broke this support over here, which is up a little higher, right? It broke this support. So this is resistance. It's still currently down below it. It seems to be doing a good job versus the dollar today, though, and it looks like it's trying to get back above there. You could see down over here when it broke below and consolidated, although it was above this trend line over here. Trying to see how much support is down where it is right now. A little bit of support. You can see my mouse line horizontal going all the way back to the left side of the chart and then around the 24th of December. So it's stabilized on that support over there. And as long as 1.292 holds over there, it's hard to say. As you said, it's consolidating. It's got to make a break above 1.2965 to look, and that would mean the dollar is probably coming off to get back into a little bit safer, a bit of a zone. Otherwise, right now it's still in jeopardy of breaking down. And if it breaks down to a new leg, if it breaks down to new lows below 1.292, then we're probably going lower to test somewhere down around here between 1.2827 and then 1.280. So I think it's dependent on what the dollar does the rest of this session. And arrow seems to have called pretty much. Go back. I'm gonna pull up the 5 minute. Right, this is where he got interested in it, and seems to have called a little bit of a turn in momentum in the dollar. Let's see if let's see if this holds and the dollar just winds up beasting out of here. I think that's the pound is going to be really tied to what happens to the dollar today. Same thing with the euro. The euro, I mean, the euro is fighting, not as strong as the pound. Pound is stronger than the euro today by a lot, but the euro is fighting to establish a possible turn here. Nice trade, nice quick trade there, Hanero. Good timing. Hanero, have a great weekend, man. Good trading. It's definitely been an exciting past few weeks of trading foreign exchange, and it looks like that's going to continue. Glad to see you on your game and getting out of here early to enjoy the day. I know I get a little quiet on Fridays, and anyone definitely wants to open up a discussion one way or another, talk about anything, look at anything. I'm definitely here and 100% all about it. Otherwise, it looks like we're in a slow grind right now. Yeah, I'll leave this up there. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. We were looking at this earlier today. Let's go back to it. This is the neckline right here. I wish I could zoom in on this chart. Much better look here on DJ's chart. This looks to be shaping up to be a really good trade, DJ. Trend lines like this, when they break, tend to bleed. You got the support to watch out first right below. But if it is a break, we should be looking at probably the target should be more or less. Let's take a look. Let's make this really big and bright. So remember. But this support down here could be the potential target on that trade, 110.26. Nice share, DJ. US dollar, the euro is trying to make a bump here, dollar coming off. So the dollar's coming off. Let's see what the US dollar, Canadian dollar is doing where the dollar's coming off. Now, bigger perspective on the US dollar, Canadian dollar. Don't try to catch a top here. You're off that resistance right here horizontally. You can see the top of the resistance right here. You could see price into it right here, right now. But you don't need to be hero and trade against the trend, which is the trend is a strong dollar, weak commodity currencies, and here we look like we're breaking out to the upside. I mean, we've broken out to the upside. Since we've broken this trend line here, this one down here, and now this one up here, We're above this support here. It's very bullish, and um, you're looking to buy off support in a uptrend like this, and there's no need to be a hero and to take you. This might be a place to lighten up going into the weekend as the dollar possibly is turning here. It's now negative on the morning, and it looks like the dollar was peaking there. And there, I'm so glad you sneaked in those pips. It was a little bit of a dangerous one there, but I'm glad you got them in and got out of there quick, which shows the sign of really good trading to be able to exit that quickly and not get greedy. That was excellent display of trading right there. But even if the dollar comes off here, it's just an opportunity to look in and possibly either buy off of this support or this one down here. Um, or if the dollar really comes off, what would the dollar really coming off look like? We come back into this support down here, probably even closer to 97, 98, 98. Move this up now. This is probably if we don't hold where we come into on the US dollar, Canadian dollar, that that could mean possibly do we take another look at this support down here? This is support now. I don't know. But you want to be buying off supports now. You don't want to be looking to try to sell tops. Even if the dollar comes off here a little bit, you know, there's better opportunity. Probably the pound US dollar is a much better play. Pound has been stronger than the dollar. It's showing strength. And if it regains this level, if it breaks back above this broken support here, uh now looking to see if it holds as resistance, probably the pound would lead over the Canadian dollar if you're going to go counter trend against the dollar. Also, the euro, if the euro can make it above, probably above 109.82, at that point, the dollar might catch a little bit of bid and momentum as well. Uh, the Canadian dollar is lagging behind, Australian dollar is lagging behind, New Zealand dollar, they're all lagging behind. So even if you get this is just into this is the break today of this support. Price is just testing that resistance now. Um, I don't think you want to go counter trend on the Australian dollar either. That's a good one, DJ. I'm gonna keep watching that Swiss franc Japanese yen also, especially now as we come in to this weekend with risk off seem to be building. Mike Pence on the wire, Vice President of the United States, saying China has demonstrated unprecedented level of transparency on the coronavirus. Well, I can't buy into that. I think Twitter has provided a glimpse of transparency. Blair, have an awesome weekend. Robert, what's going on? Good to see you. I think it's the first time we've seen you in here. Welcome. Glad that you've come across us. Hey, look out on Sunday for the release of the weekly Forex forecast and analysis. It is a fantastic way to set the tone for the week ahead, and I highly recommend it. Focusing here on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen come off quite a bit. Looks like it's coming into some possible resistance. Want to take a look at it? Yep, right into that resistance right now. But one more above at 73.50 as well. As long as we're below these two and price comes off, it might be an opportunity. No, I thank you, but it's a lot of fun, and we are definitely attracting and growing a really good group of people, which is fantastic. Jesus, Robert, that's awful. Don't ever do that. I'm so sorry. That's a really, I mean, so let's take a look at the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. We'll go back to that in a second. That's really important. Trying to see if that little bit of resistance I have should actually be pulled up a little bit. The yen pairs came off I think ever since actually, let's see when Pence made that statement. You're right, Jesse. You're right, Jesse. Exactly. He's on CNBC right now talking about the trade deal and phase one. And I don't know. War is war. Seems like a good opportunity for the U.S. to actually ratchet up a little bit of pressure. But good propaganda unraveling there, Jesse. That's exactly what's going on. Got big resistance above on the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. When I say big resistance, this trend line over here is 5-year resistance, right? Definitely looks like we're coming in back into this resistance over here. Yen is definitely off over the last 45 minutes everywhere, but we're going into a big weekend. And you know, it seems to risk off positions have come back pretty far, not all the way there yet, but things don't look to be simmering down. They look to be escalating big time. So this might be an area to lean in over here on the yen. Dollar still fighting. Dollar still fighting though. Um, nice, Steve. Nice hold. Yeah, I mean, Robert, the best thing to do right now is nothing as far as trading, and just spend a few days, spend next week with us, right? And just come in with an open mind as far as learning and patience. And opening a 1 week in the greatest scheme of things is absolutely nothing. All right. Um, just start there. Let's start really slow. You know, obviously you learned a great lesson there in sending your money to someone else's account, and I'm really sorry for that. But because of just coming off of that situation, just take a posture right now of patience and slowness. Don't look to jump into anything whatsoever. Just just spend a little time learning with us, seeing what's going on, and we're just going to start really slow. I think so, Martin, too. I really think so. But you are seeing over the last half hour, but this is coming into the close here in London. You saw gold come off big time, 100% manipulation. Let's see if it does resume, like was just said. Who said that? Dominic. Let's see right now. We saw the Japanese yen pairs come off. Listen, I'm not one for talk. Manipulation exists right now. J.P. Morgan is being investigated by the Department of Justice for gold manipulation. We all know it exists. Um, let's see what if these moves are sharply reversed in the next 15 minutes or not. After then, I think it's a good time for us all to call it a weekend. Although the markets are active. Robert, all I can say is that I want you to come to see that for yourself. Is that this is a really good place. It's a great environment. I truly, sincerely believe that I offer a lot. And I think just by you just giving yourself a small window of opportunity 1 week, by the end of next week, if you just sit and watch for a week, I think that you'll come to understand that for yourself. And that's what I want. I want to see you to come to that. I'm not, I want you to understand that for yourself. But instead of the US dollar, Japanese yen, which you're right is coming into that area of support, I'm watching this over here. The Australian dollar, which is definitely weaker, came back into this resistance. Got this area of resistance right here. All right, everyone. I think this is a good place just to call it a week. Another really, really great week with you guys, with you all. Um, Definitely, I assure you that this week's weekly Forex forecast analysis is going to be a good one, an important one, and everything just across the board seems to be. There's a lot to talk about, and we're going to get into as much as possible in it. Definitely setting the tone for next week. Um, I wish you all a wonderful weekend, and again, thank you for everything.